Hello everyone, and welcome to Counterpoint, where we bring together two opposing opinions and see why they think so differently. Is it culture? Is it religion? Is it the way that they were brought up? Here we have our two guests, Chriazelle, Bueser, is it? I apologise. Awesome. And Jasmine, Jary. Awesome. So we're just going to start with Chria over here today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name's Chria. I'm 19. I'm a full-time uni student and I'm a full-time mum.
Oh, awesome. So you have a daughter, right?
Yes,
awesome.
I do.
Awesome. How old is she, may I ask?
So she is 2 years old. Her name's Rosie.
Amazing.
She's so good.
Awesome. So how old were you when you had Rosie?
I was 17.
17, okay.
Yep.
Awesome, amazing. So you were still in high school when you were pregnant?
Yeah, I was in my last year of high school.
Awesome, amazing. What was that sort of like, finishing up your high school experience?
Well, it was really difficult, going through like hormonal changes, you know, like physical changes as well, and like social changes as well with everyone around me.
Yeah.
But it was really cool and it was rough, but it was great. I had like friends and family around me.
Yeah.
It was great.
Speaking of friends and family and your situation and everything like that, what did you sort of go through when you found out you were pregnant? What was your mental thought there?
Well, when I found out I was pregnant, I broke down crying. I was like so overwhelmed. And my first thought was like, how am I going to tell my parents? Or am I ready to have a baby? Or should I have this baby? Should I not have this baby? It was like totally. Very, very conflicting.
Yeah.
And
that was a very scary experience, I can imagine.
It was. But I'm very grateful as well, with the choices that I've made. And I'm very happy where I am. So I'm really glad.
Incredible. Amazing. Yeah. Do you plan on having any more kids or anything like that?
Not at the moment. No,
Awesome.
Not for a while.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Amazing. So Rosie's just your main priority at this point in time?
Yeah.
Amazing. Did you have a good support system around you, as you mentioned before, with your friends and family and all that?
Yeah. So my parents they were a little bit upset at first, but they were very supportive. They understood my choices and my decisions, and I had my friends who were so great throughout all of it, even up until now. And you know, being a single mum and all, like they've been really great to me.
Yeah, amazing. I can imagine that was an experience that you weren't quite, expecting at that point in time. No. Were you sort of? Do you feel that your high school experience sort of leading up to that sort of made you feel pressured in that moment as someone who was very young? Were you sort of taught these stereotypes that we're taught today, that young people can't be parents or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
My parents, they're very religious and they're quite strict in their views.
Yeah.
So, being pregnant and growing up, I was told like, you get married and then you have kids.
Yeah.
And even like throughout high school, there was like this stigmatization of like teen pregnancies and teen moms dropping out of school, and it was very scary.
Yeah.
But, I ended up finishing and I'm in uni now, so I guess it all worked out.
Incredible. So you don't feel in the long run, I would say, that those opinions and thoughts from other people really influenced how you are now or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Yeah.
I'm quite like very open-minded, and I just try to stick with my decisions with what's right for me.
Yeah.
And what's right for me at the time. And at the time, I just felt like I was okay to have my baby, and,
Yeah, incredible. Did you have any experience with young kids prior to your pregnancy?
God, no.
No?
No. I am like the youngest. I've never babysat prior to having a baby. I didn't have like nieces or nephews growing up. Like my cousins were already like around my age.
Yeah.
So I was very like ill-prepared.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine, and definitely sort of growing up in that environment, like you spoke before. Were you not prepared for that experience again because of these stereotypes? They're focused on don't do that rather than preparing you if that happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say so. My parents never really talked to me about the possibilities, like, of that happening, and it was more of like a, like, we don't talk about it sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it was taught in school, we talked about it in school, but it just wasn't really talked about.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
and it was very difficult trying to navigate through all of it.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Makes you who you are today.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Now, one final little question for you. If given a choice, would you have wanted to pursue a career before having a child? Or is it a better experience, would you say, being a young mother?
Well, for me, I'm still pursuing my career path, and
Yeah,
I
of
already
course.
still have a child. So, in my point of view, I'm just very glad that I have the time that I have now to spend with my daughter, because I'm trying to pursue a career path in a very demanding job career.
Of course, yeah.
So, being and having this time with her, it's very important to me. And,
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
being there for her childhood, it's really great.
Yeah, amazing. So you would say this is definitely something that you're happy has happened? You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
regretful of it at all?
No,
or-
absolutely not.
Incredible. That is so incredible to hear. So this has been Chria thus far. I'm very invested in your story. I think it's a very, very interesting concept heading into, you know, the modern world with a lot of, you know, feminism really reaching its target at this point in time. I love to see your perspective on all of this and what you sort of see from a different perspective, because obviously I can always think about what it's going to be as a young mother, as someone who doesn't currently have kids, but I will never understand that perspective. And I appreciate you coming on here to speak with us today, because this has really just, brought a new light to everything for me. So amazing. So thank you, Chria. We are going to have a short break. In the meantime, please enjoy this performance by Ariana Cleaver, performing her original song, Like a Waterfall. Like a Waterfall.
It's time to let go. Breathe out and know that you're worth more than you know. Hard times will pass. Just smile and laugh, because you're worth more than you know. Than you know. Than you know. So let it go, like a waterfall, and someday you might hear the call. So let it go, like a waterfall. Friends come and they go. Life goes by fast, yet seems so slow. And you don't have to know where to go, because you're worth more than you know. Than you know. distracted we've all become. This world needs a little love. Open your eyes and do something you've never done. We need to come back to who we are. So let it go like a waterfall. And someday you might hear the call. So let it go like a waterfall.
Alrighty, welcome back to Counterpoint, everyone, a show where we bring together two opposing ideas and see why they are so different. Here we are moving on to Jasmine Jary. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
Wonderful. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, Jasmine?
Yeah, sure. My name is Jasmine. I'm 25 years old and I'm a high school science teacher.
Oh, amazing. So you teach science?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Is there anything specific in that field that you teach or just an overall sort of...
Yeah, so my major, so what I studied in university was environmental biology, so I specialise in that, but since it's science, I still teach all the chemistry, earth and space and physics, all of that.
Yeah, incredible. How long have you been teaching for?
So it's only my second year teaching this year, so not too long I've been in the profession for.
Yeah, incredible. So I'm going to guess here that you're on here because you plan on having no kids for the time being. Awesome. Is there any reason why you've chosen not to have any kids?
There are many reasons why I would not like to have my own children. The main one being at the moment, I just don't have time as a teacher.
Of course, yeah.
It takes up a lot of time out of your life, planning lessons, doing all of that. But also it's a lot of work to have a kid, especially teaching. You get to see what they're like. I'm still dealing with students and kids day to day, but yeah, they can definitely be quite a handful, and I don't think I have the capacity to be able to look after someone at the moment.
So sort of expanding on that point, does teaching have anything to do with this? You know, being around kids all day and, like you said, just a lot of effort having to put it all together, teaching classes and stuff like that?
It definitely has some input into my decision, but I was kind of not wanting kids before teaching anyway, so it just kind of cemented that idea into my brain a little bit more when I got into teaching. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So before becoming a teacher, sort of expanding on that again, did you have any experience with kids, or is this kind of your whole...
I know when I was a kid, I wanted to have many different kids. I think when I was about 10, I think I wanted to have like 6 kids, but I think just growing up, I decided that it just was not what I felt like was able to fit into my life and what I want to do in my future. And kids of my own just doesn't fit that.
Yeah, of course. So do you think if you hadn't pursued a career in teaching, your decision would have been influenced in a different direction?
Potentially, but I don't think so, because the things that I want to do in my life don't have to be with teaching anyway. So it's just things that I want to do anyway. Teaching just allows me to do those things. So I don't think my opinion would have changed anyway, even if I wasn't a teacher.
Yeah, again, sort of expanding on that. Is your decision firm, or do you think you may become different in the future, have a different opinion later in life? Or?
I am very aware that my opinion could possibly change. I'm not against my opinion changing, but I know at this very point in time I'm very firm of not wanting kids in my life, and I think if I was to get pregnant at the moment, I would not have the child because it just does not fit with my lifestyle.
Yeah, of course. So sort of expanding on what we spoke to Chria about, do you feel that that sort of societal pressure of women, you have to have kids, like, you know, why aren't you having kids? Do you feel that has had any influence on your decision at all, or?
Definitely as well. Like, I was saying earlier, there's many different things that make me have this opinion. That's definitely one of them. Just lots of societal pressures on that, and I don't feel as if it's fair to have that put upon me.
Yeah, of course.
Many different reasons as to why I would not like to have kids.
Of course, yeah. So again, sort of developing on top of that, are you sort of questioned a lot in your life by the people around you? Is this something that you're kind of open about, or is it something you're a bit closeted about? Or
I am very open about it, but it's usually getting the opinions of, you'll change your mind later, and but what about this and this? And I always have the counter arguments for them, because again, it's something I have thought about very seriously, and it can be quite annoying, I think, is a good word to use, when you have lots of people having their own opinions about your life. I'm fine with everyone else. You can do whatever you would like with your own life, and if you want to have kids, that's fine. It just does not suit me at this moment.
Totally. Yeah. So women who decide to become career focused, as you've just explained, can choose to freeze their eggs to have children later in life. Is that something you would consider?
Definitely, if it didn't cost thousands of dollars, in order to do that. I feel like everyone would, just in case, because again, there is a possibility I could change my mind, but that's not affordable for most people. That's not affordable for me either. So I don't think something I would look into. I think I would prefer to instead maybe adopt, even though I know that's still a really hard process. But if I wasn't able to have kids, I think I would go down that route.
So could your decision potentially be swayed by a future partner?
Oh, definitely, because I'm very open about everything. But if there was a future partner to come around this year, I don't think it would change. But I can see, very much future-wise, if someone was there, I would consider thinking about it, but also get them to think about maybe things like adoption or other ways to have a child in our life.
Totally, yeah. So just sort of something you're in limbo about at the moment. You're pretty firm on it, but just sort of something you're like, oh.
I'm just very aware that there are things that can change. I've changed very much in my 25 years of life. So, I know that lots of others could end up changing too.
Of course, yeah. Yeah. So do you feel, again, do you find people are at all speaking to you about this topic and saying, like, what if, like, constantly? Or is it just sort of something
I don't know about constantly, but it's always aware of it, especially being female as well.
Yeah.
It's very much brought up in many different conversations, even if it's things like having nieces and nephews. It's like at family gatherings, when are you going to have yours? When are you going to be introducing people into the world? And it just is the usual conversations of going down again as to why I would not like that. And I prefer it to be the norm of not having kids around.
Of course, yeah. Well, thank you very much, Jasmine. Coming up, we will be having an open conversation between our two guests regarding this topic. But for the meantime, a short clip promoting SWAN, Perth's Women's in Film Festival. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you after this short break.
The festival director, Chriazelle, had a conversation on set, and the question was asked on that set, why does Perth not have a women's film festival? Sydney has one, Melbourne has one, why not Perth?
I was really passionate about females and bringing, especially like as a woman of colour myself, showing those stories and showing female talent, because I know we're talented and I know there's so many talented females in WA and in Australia.
There's not many female filmmakers, and so being able to have a space that celebrates women's films is a really important thing, I think.
That's where it's so great to just work with people who you really get along with, who you're close with. It makes it really nice, actually. It's also, there's something really nice about getting to work with other women.
Being able to have women that support me and also feeling supported and supporting other women in the film industry it's a really proud feeling.
I think women have such a unique perspective of the world, and that's very much portrayed through our films. So I think it's really important to have those platforms. in order to showcase these really thought-provoking and eye-opening pieces of work.
It's just nice to hang around like-minded people and strong, independent women.
Even though there are networking spaces, we feel that providing one specifically for women is just going to encourage women to work with each other, bring each other into industry, and just really help bridge that gap that's in industry at the moment.
I think everyone should come to Swan. I think it's a beautiful place to network, and we have big things coming this year and next year.
We're really excited for Swan 2023. Our submissions are open and we're really keen to see what people submit.
Alrighty everyone, welcome back to Counterpoint. This is the last part of our show and we will be taking both of our opposing opinions here today, Chria and Jasmine. So I just want us to start off with asking you, Chria, would you have ever considered having a child before you were pregnant?
I did. I knew even when I was little that I wanted kids. I just didn't expect it to happen so soon, I guess.
Yeah, of course. So, Jasmine, what's your opinion on young mothers?
Oh, I think it's great. I think there's definitely benefits to being a young mum as well, because you have a lot more energy to be able to play around with your kids. I think, I don't think young people get enough credit for how smart they actually are and how much they can persevere through things. So I still think it can be quite beneficial to some people to have kids younger. I'm not against not having kids at all. It's just, unless it's myself. Yeah. But for other people, I think it's, can work out and can be quite beneficial for them.
Yeah, totally. So both sort of on the same page here, just differing life paths, I would say, not even necessarily differing opinions. Amazing. So this is to both of you right now. Do you think that family influence has a positive or negative impact on women who choose whether or not to have children?
I think it's
definitely an impact.
Yeah, it depends, because that they're trying to. It's out of love a lot of the time. What they're trying to say to you, but I think it can come off quite negative a lot of the time because it's more, again, they're looking at what they think is best for us instead of what we actually know is best for us.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
And are you both looking at that from the perspective of being a woman in today's society, as far as we've come and everything like that? Do you both still feel there's that pressure on us as women?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. There's still, we can see it in not only pregnancy, but there's still a lot of societal norms that shouldn't be around for people, and people should just be able to do what they want as long as it's not hurting others.
Of course.
But I think, there's still quite a bit of that pressure on things.
Is there any specific sort of topic or pressure that you're sort of referencing here, or is it just like a general scale of women still being seen as something to sort of play around with?
I think it's more like that. It's very much of, but why don't you want your own children to love and to hold kind of thing? And it's like, I wouldn't mind that, I guess, but I see the long term of you have to look after that child. That child is not just, you give birth to them and then that's it. You've got to then raise them, and I think it takes a lot of strength from mothers to do that, and fathers and anyone raising kids. So I have immense respect for that, but I wouldn't want that for myself.
So Chria, do we share similar feelings about this as someone who actually comes from that perspective?
Definitely a lot of social factors that do play a part in it. But I guess overall, it kind of just, in my opinion, depends on the woman, on what you choose to do.
Yeah.
Like, you choose to have a baby, you choose not to have a baby. I think it shouldn't affect you and your decision yourself.
Yeah.
And I think having children, not having children, or different other ways to have a family is also like, you know, for you. It shouldn't, in my opinion, these pressures, it shouldn't exist. It's just unfair for women in today's society, and how far we've come, like through feminism, through everything. I think it's such a vital like issue that we really do need to address for women. Yeah.
So this is again to both of you here. Do either of you think that growing up in Australia specifically allows you the fortune of having more options and better support systems regardless of what decision you make?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's maybe a bit harder to answer because I don't have a kid, so I don't know really too much about what kind of support's available once you have a child there, especially as a single mum. Can I imagine that's even harder for things? But yeah, I think there would be a lot more support available. I still probably think there isn't enough to look after, again, kids. They're children, they're what we want our society to be like. So I think there can always be more support available.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So again, speaking to the both of you, expanding on topics we spoke about before, does having a long-term partner affect these decisions at all?
In my opinion, no.
Okay, yeah.
Did we want to expand on that a little bit?
Well, for me, when I was pregnant, when I found out I was pregnant, me and my boyfriend at the time, my baby's father, we were in a very new relationship, like very new, like very early stages. So my decision to keep my baby was for me. It was very reassuring that he was there and that he was very willing to be a part of my baby's life and to support my baby and to be there. But ultimately, the decision came to me on whether or not I was ready. And at the time, I was, and I still am. And I think he definitely played a part, but not enough to have swayed my decision.
Of course, yeah, that's massively inspirational from the both of you. Jasmine, you mentioned before the financial cost and everything like that. I can imagine to the both of you that was quite an influential thing regarding this decision.
Yeah, I mean, being a teacher, I see how much I spend on just day-to-day equipment for students that maybe potentially have forgot their equipment, or again, they just are not able to afford it. So seeing what even I'm putting out without my own child there, or seeing my niece and nephew, how much it can be, it's a big decision. And I think what you were just saying about having a partner around, it shouldn't matter because of the fact you need to know whether you're ready or not individually, because you don't know what will happen in the future. You don't know if you'll have your partner around forever. So whether that's because you break up or something tragic might happen.
Thank you very much. We have unfortunately run out of time here today. It's been amazing to get some insight from the both of you. It's been an incredible day. I would like to thank you all for coming to Counterpoint this evening. Thank you to Chria and Jasmine. This has been Counterpoint. We look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you very much, and a big thank you. Tayla Burton. This has been Counterpoint. It's been very oppositional.